Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. We are live on Instagram, TikTok. I have Mr. Robbinson Galvez live from Pattaya, Thailand. We were just catching up a little bit. Say hi, Robinson.
How you doing, guys?
Yeah. So we were just talking a little bit about what you've been doing in Thailand. You're out there for a 3 month stint. You know, you're fighting out of Phase 3 martial arts. Where's Phase 3 at? Where are they based out of?
Yeah, so Phase 3 is in Santa Rosa, California. It's kind of in the heart of Sonoma County. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know where that is, just think about the fires that happened about 3 years ago that was all over the news. Yeah, it's pretty much right where it was at, my backyard. I have literal videos of the fire being in my backyard. And just like, okay, well.
I can relate to you on that, man. Our place that we had we had the Thomas fires go through our place.
Yes.
And where our first academy's at in Ventura, it was on the mandatory evacuation line.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just see it all blow through. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, man, those are wild. But yeah, I live in just at Sonoma County. I live pretty much on the county line of Napa County too. So just think about wine as well, like Napa Valley. So
Napa Valley wine,
much my neck of the woods there.
Good, man. How long have you been doing martial arts for?
When I was in high school, I was about 15, 16, and I don't even really remember honestly, but I did like a little stint. And it was never consistent. It was like 3 months here, like take 6 months off, or the program would be out because I was actually raised in a small town, 7,000 people. So it's not like
damn, that is small.
Yeah, so it's not like there was like people there constantly. A lot of the time, it was me and my trainer. So there was like on and off, and 15 to like maybe 17 before I ultimately decided to take a break. But when I was doing that, I was so sold I wanted to be a fighter. Like I was like doing my senior project and like, what do you want to do with your life? I want to be a fighter. And even though I had been training for very long, but I took a rib injury and got scared. Being my senior year of high school, I decided to do trade school. Took a few years off. And then as soon as I graduated trade school, I decided I wanted to be a fighter. So I've been training for about 5 years now and started a month before my 21st birthday.
Damn, man. So how old are you now?
I'm 26.
You're 26. Perfect time to be doing what you're doing. There you go.
Yeah, man. Right in the prime years.
Yeah, it's a good time to be involved and to pull that trigger and make that jump over to Thailand. So how do you went to Thailand once before, right?
Yeah. So I was at Sitam Penang in 2019, where I trained with Mon Lit Podang, who was Jongson on the Wooden Man's coach. And that's kind of why I want to kind of follow the lineage of it. You know, like Jong Sunan is my coach, Ben, out of Phase 3. He's my coach's coach. So I wanted to go see Jong Sunan's coach and meet him. And I was actually supposed to come out to Fairtex last time I was here, but I decided that I liked Sitam Penang and I liked the trainer. And so I just decided to stay.
I mean, yeah, if you like it, especially if you're not there for that long.
Yeah, I was there for 4 months last time. And this time I'm here for 3 months, a little bit shorter.
Okay, but still a good amount of time, man.
Yeah, good amount of time. Just and also like last time I learned it takes a while to get your feet wet. You know, like coming for a month, does it change you? Yes. But do I feel like I have like my feet under me, like my gas tank is developed enough? You just kind of start to feel like your feet are under you at a month, even though you do learn a lot. And like, you know, everything is like, I say like in Thailand, you age in dog years for Muay Thai. No.
What do you mean?
Like because you train so much more here, like in a day or two. I've trained more than I have back home in like a week. It seems like.
No, well, you definitely. So real quick, we have Danny over on TikTok. Yes, this is for the podcast, Danny. So if you have questions for Robinson, I'm sure you guys can hear him. If you're over on Instagram, you got questions too. Shoot them in. We can get to them in a little bit. If you're following, make sure to go check out Robinson. It's good. I try to stream on everything, guys. All right, go follow him at Robinson Who on Instagram at Robinson Who. All right, is it the same thing for your
everything? TikTok? So I made myself pretty easy to find. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, all of it. If I have it, it's Robinson Who. Reddit, Discord now.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. I love it. And then you were saying that your last trip to town, you met Angela Chang, our friend Angela Chang.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So she had been training with Mon Lit for quite some time. And she was there for a month when I first got there. And then she had to come back to the States for a couple months when I was there in the middle. But then that last month, I got to hang out with her as well and train with her. Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, she's a great person. Great fighter
So
too.
I saw a video on your reels. I shared it. It was like I think was that when you were training in Mexico?
Yeah, that's me hitting pads with my uncle. So I had just discovered that I had uncles that were pro boxers in Mexico.
Oh shit.
And yeah, and that uncle in particular had won the Mexico Golden Gloves as an amateur and was selected to either he basically had a choice to go to the Olympics or to go pro. But naturally in Mexico, you want to go pro because you make money,
Yeah.
So he went pro rather than going to the Olympics. But as soon as I found out he was a pro boxer and he was my uncle, I went to go train with him every day. And we were just hitting pads in that backyard, and we would go by like this little waterfall and just like, it was basically like Spartan like workouts, like he'd hang me off of like the side of like a waterfall, like a wall of the waterfall. It's going this way, and have me do sit-ups and like back crunches, and I would just like do like go run down these like dirt trails, and just really it was just using what we got. And he filled up like a potato sack with sand, and that was my punching bag. And so we were just trying to make the most of what we had. I bought some mitts. I bought some mitts, and I bought a jump rope and bought some hand wraps, and that's what we made do. So we were training every day, and yeah, it was cool to train with somebody like that. He actually fought some big names back in the day. He fought on Don King Promotions.
Oh shit.
And, yeah. So he
was doing a lot.
Yeah, he made it pretty deep. That was his life, and he had some stuff happen in his life that's still pretty confusing to me. So I don't really know what happened, but I know that it kind of steered him off the fighting path. But
as we know, it happens.
Yes,
we see it. You've been around martial arts long enough to see that. Someone over here says Robbinson Pu'u. No, Robbinson who WHO.
Yeah.
No relations.
Yeah.
Yeah, no relations. So. When you went through, like you said, you overcame rib injury and like you decided to go for it. What was your why behind doing what you're doing right now? Like, what is the reason why are you in Thailand? Just share a little bit with us. Like, why did you decide to go back? And what is it that's motivating you right now as a fighter?
Sure. So when I started training, it wasn't like a hobby. So when I started training again, I was basically like, I want to make this my life, because it was almost like out of desperation. So I graduated trade school. I felt like, there's a point after high school, you break apart from all your friends and kind of adulthood kind of hits you, like you're paying your own bills, you're away from your family, you don't talk to your friends as much anymore. So I felt like I pretty much had no friends. Everyone kind of found their new cliques. I was pretty sad. I was in debt. I had just broken up with a girlfriend. I was just like feeling really, I was girlfriend. Just like, I was just like, kind of down in the pits. And, I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to move back in with my family, because I feel like I'm just kind of working kind of endlessly. I had like 3 jobs. I was just working my butt off, barely getting any sleep. Like when I woke up, I'd be afraid because I didn't know what day it was. And I was like, am I late for work? So I basically was like, I felt pretty empty. And I decided, for a year after I graduated trade school, I was actually trying to be an entrepreneur so I could make a bunch of money, so I could train all the time and be the best fighter in the world, pretty much. Right.
Yeah.
And then what I saw was that there was people my age doing great things. And I needed my youth more than I needed the money to become a successful fighter. So I decided, hey, I will live under a bridge if I need to. I will live in my car. Whatever it is, I want to make money from fighting.
Yeah.
So I went out looking for a gym. I just happened to find a Muay Thai gym. I wasn't necessarily like, oh, I'm going to be a Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah, like this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So, but my first coach from my hometown, his name is Jimmy. He told me, hey man, like sometimes the best training you get is like a little hole in the walls, and it's true, because I've gone to big name gyms. I lived in Sacramento for a couple of years. So I trained at pretty much like the big name gyms there, or tried them out at least, and wasn't happy with the environment and the coaching that I was getting. So at the town where I lived in at the time, Santa Rosa, where I found my home gym, Phase 3 now. There's of course a big gym that I didn't have a great experience at. So I was looking at every gym to not go to the gym that I had a bad experience at.
Oh yeah.
So I went to Taekwondo gyms. I went to karate. I went to Wing Chun. I went to
everything, huh?
everything. Yeah, I looked up, and then the actually the gym I'm at now was the last place on my list. And
Save the best for last, man.
Yeah, and I couldn't find it actually.
Oh,
and some of the places weren't even there. Some of the places like moved locations and didn't put it on their online stuff. Yeah. So I thought this place was just like that. And I was like running around and I was like, where is this place? I parked my car. I'm like walking around. I'm like, dude, I need to find a gym today. And after talking with my coach that day, I decided, I was like, this is somewhere I want to be. Like, it was something that felt right about the gym environment. Like, sometimes you go to a gym and people don't help you. Like, I've been to gyms where I'm like standing around. There's like the front desk person is like looking at me and they're like, what do you, almost like, what do you want? I'm like, dude, you're looking at me. Like, can you answer some of my questions? Yeah, man. So man. I was like, yeah. So I was helped right away. People were really nice. And I felt like a good connection. So I decided to dive head first in it. And I decided that I wanted to be a fighter more than I wanted money. And if I really believe that that this is good, that I'm good at this, I will trust the process and the money will come. So I didn't just do like, oh, it'll happen eventually. I made a plan, a 5-year plan, setting my goals, trackable goals, so that at the end of 5 years, I will more or less know if I have a future in the sport, which actually just came up this last February.
That's your 5 year?
5 years. Yeah. So I had my 5-year plan, which I was pretty far off of on most things. But I think that having those goals actually helped me set like something where I'm like, okay, I think I have a future in the sport. I think I'm beating high level competition. I think I can make it happen with my skill set, because I want to make money from it. But if I'm not any good, because obviously you may not be good at the thing that you love sometimes. And, I'm very pro doing things that make you happy regardless. But for me, since I wanted to make it my career, I thought that I need to know if I actually have a future. I'm just going to waste my time. So I did that. And so basically I was just fighting every fight like it was my last fight, because, at the end of 5 years, if I'm not good at this, I give it up pretty much and I'll grow up. This is basically like me fighting, like staying like a kid, because like, this is kind of like a childlike dream. Most people tell you when you grow up, you have to go to college, you have to find a job, you have to, have a mortgage. We know whatever it is that people tell you their road. I did it that way. And I was feeling very empty and I wasn't feeling satisfied. So I just decided to chase the dream and just gamble on myself for those 5 years and go all in.
You can never go wrong with that, man. You can always go back to school.
And then now that I'm feeling like I can make it, I've accomplished some pretty good things, especially coming from a small gym, having some limited opportunities. Sometimes it feels like the odds are against you, but I'm ranked number 1 in the world in the IKF world rankings, which is a pretty small organization if you think about it. But to me, that's a pretty good indicator that I'm
being ranked, having a ranking is cool, and being number 1 ain't bad. That's next thing you know, man, WBC. There we go.
Yeah. That's the goal. I'll be fighting on Freedom Promotions. I fought for the number 1 spot on Freedom Fighter Promotions back in January.
Okay.
So I'll be fighting for a national title when I come back on Freedom.
And so for Freedom Fight Promotions, that's Rami Ibrahim's he's the promoter, correct?
Yes.
Good dude right there.
Yeah, man, he's a great guy. I love beating him. He's well-run promotion. And then, I picked up in the last year. I had 9 fights from May 2021 to pretty much this year. I had like 9 fights, 9 months.
It's pretty good.
From May to January. I picked up 3 titles. I won the IKF World Classic, got a silver medal at the USMTO in Arizona. Then I won the Northern California regional title. I was supposed to fight for the IKF California state title, but politics happened, and I ended up just defending my Northern California title. And then after that, I fought for Freedom Fighter Promotions to wrap it up before I got cut. And then I was supposed to fight for the national title 3 weeks after the fight where I got cut, but because of the cut, of course, I couldn't fulfill that. But I figured, I was like, look at what I'm doing. I'm kind of starting to live my dream. I'm starting to get a little bit of traction. I feel like I'm pretty well known. And when I went pro, when I go pro, I'm basically looking to just be like one of those guys. It's like, where has this guy been? And the answer is in amateur ranks, kind of curating my skill set, because there's more fight opportunities in America for amateurs than there is for professionals.
Yeah. We talk about that a lot here on here. Is like why like how we don't make money essentially doing this. And I was actually just watching an interesting documentary. It's called Counterpunch. It's about boxers, but I saw the parallels in the Muay Thai world. So they had this guy who's an amateur boxer. He changed his name to Cam F Awesome, like legally changed it to Cam Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And his whole thing is he wanted to be an Olympic champion because I guess USOC, US Olympic Committee, wouldn't give more funding to USA boxing unless they were getting medals. But the thing is, just like you were saying, people don't have incentive to stay amateur because they're not making money. Right.
So
they want to get paid. Same thing. You want to get paid. You want to get paid for your skills and your time. So this guy had like 300 plus amateur fights.
Damn.
And he's trying to get into the Olympics and stuff like that too. And they're showing this whole journey through it. But when it comes into it, it's like people are like, how come you're not fighting pro and all this stuff? And I'm sure the guy goes pro, people will be like, oh, like if you're in boxing, you know who he is. But if you don't really follow the amateur scene, you won't know who they are.
Right.
Whereas like the scene here in the US is very much like a lot of amateur, people fight amateur for as long as possible. And then you go pro, you go to Thailand, so that way you can get a few fights.
Right.
And that way you're not a pro debuter in the US where you're losing money, where you're getting a $500 fight person, you pay $1,200 for medicals. Right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
I've been there, man. I know how that shit goes. So seeing that come together and see you doing like the right things to build your name, man, I no doubt in my mind you're gonna go somewhere with it in a good place.
No, thank you. Thank you. I mean, I think for me too is it's important for me. Like I'm 21. I was 21 pretty much when I started. So it wasn't like I had a few years. Like if I started at 17, I have a few years. I could take a few losses. I can cure. I can take more break in between fights or whatever. But at 21, I really only have one crack. I go pro. I have one real good run at a title run. I can get signed to, because for me, Muay Thai is my base. So I might transition into MMA if the money's right. Because ultimately I want to get paid for my skill set. So if I get signed to UFC or Bellator, it's like I have one real good solid run at a title shot, and then or signing to one, like it's like
I was gonna say one FC, man.
And I would love to right now, and I'm weighing out my options because of course I want to make my pro debut and later this year, and I want to really make some noise. But signing to one of those promotions takes time to work up the rankings. One is a little bit better, but they're a little bit newer on the scene as well.
Yes.
So, but UFC and Bellator, it takes time to work up the rankings and people don't want to fight you and there's politics and what you have to know the right people and network. So there's stuff that's involved, right? And getting there. So I'm like, I have to do this right. I have to make sure like when I get my shot, like nothing holds me back. My skill set's there. I'm not like just like, oh, too early, too soon, or taking losses or damage that I need to. I don't want to be begging for fights. I want to be someone who goes pro with hype. Like I seen a lot of people go pro just to go pro and then they have one fight, two fights, and then it's over, But I look at someone like Luke Lessie, who went pro with like 60 amateurs. And there's a bidding war, the people will be like, oh yeah, sign with me. So now there's a little bit more leverage on with the money.
Yes, exactly. Because they built up, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, man, that's cool. That's more or less what I want to do. No, I hadn't seen anybody do it before, but like Luke is a great example of how I wanted to do it going pro.
We didn't really have the opportunity to do it before. That's what happened.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of competition, period. Yeah.
What would, as you go through this whole journey of building your fight career over the past 5 years, have you created like a new 3-year plan, a 5-year plan? What are you doing now?
Yeah. So I'm going to do another 5 years because I think I feel like I'm just about to enter my prime, like I'm 26, 27 next year. I'll be going pro, and then these from 27 to 30 is going to be a real good tell of my skill set, and especially if I can establish myself as someone who's really like marketable, and a good fighter, B, someone that people can sell in. I'm going to really see if I can really do this, if I have a crack. Like if I'm like losing, if I'm like 1-8 or something as a pro or something, I'll be like, well, that sucks, and I will do that wholeheartedly because I want to find out. I'm willing to take that gamble, and I'm willing to give myself that time to grow. But from 30 to 35 is going to be the real test to see, like, especially for me, my plan started with UFC, and I'm still kind of thinking like UFC because I think as far as marketability and building a brand and getting eyes on you, UFC is the place to go.
Oh, for sure. Especially there in the US until ONE FC, because ONE FC is supposed to, they were due to have their first event in Colorado this year. So I don't know what the update is on that, but until they really break through into that market, it's still a very niche. Like, yeah.
Well, ONE FC is very appealing to me because they're starting to pay good money for Muay Thai and K1. So maybe I don't even have to transition into MMA if they have an interest in me, and it's all, exactly. And then also I just have to make sure that I can hang with that type of competition as well. I'm at Fairtex where you have Ferrari, Fairtex, Nakrov, Stamp, Y2K, Semapat. Like you have all these great talent. And I'm like, cool. And right now it seems a little unachievable. So I have to also assess, like, will I be able to hang with these guys? You see guys in the Grand Prix that's going on with Rotang. You see some of the guys that are pretty much like I will be in their place. The names aren't rolling off the tongue right now, but they're a little bit older because most foreigners start this art a little bit older, and then they're trying to hang with the high level Thais basically in one. So I'm trying to assess: am I going to be able to do that, and am I going to be able to win a title and get the most eyes on me? So I'm trying to kind of get the most eyes on me and be able to get paid. Because at the end of the day, we are putting our bodies through hell in order to pursue this career. And it does come to an end. Like I can't do this, I don't know how long I'll be able to do it. I try to fight in a way where I don't take much damage, but sometimes because of the difference in skill set, I have to make up for it in aggression, and I take damage in some fights, Yeah. So I do try to fight most of my fights where I don't get hit in the head too much. So my longevity is a little bit longer, but sometimes a war is necessary.
Yeah, and just like to reiterate that too, you're right now, like you said, you're coming back from a concussion, right?
Yeah.
What was that, like 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago. See, I don't know why I remember that, but I did. Oh.
Yeah. you got a sharp mind.
Yeah. But I don't know how, man. I get hit in the head a lot too.
My short-term memory is really good. My long-term isn't as good. Good. Maybe I can look at a number and be like, I'll be like, hey, what's that number? I'll be like, oh yeah, it's 1-800 blah 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 blah, and then I'm like, whoa, okay.
Why do I remember that? Jeez. Yeah. For this time that you've been in Thailand right now, Robinson, you've been full time at Fairtex? Have you vacationed out like anywhere else, or have you done like full time training there at Fairtex?
Yeah, so I've been at Fairtex the whole time. Yeah, I haven't really done a whole lot of shopping around. For me, I know something that's really important to me is that like building the relationship. That's something that I actually learned from Angela. She's like, if you go to a gym, like, you can shop around a little bit. You might get a good experience, but you want, like, they're not going to remember your name. They're not going to get invested in you. Yeah. So it's like at the end of the day, like there needs to be something built there in order for you to get. It's like you get good training. It's hard to get bad training in Thailand, but to get that next level training when someone's invested in you a little bit, it's different.
Yeah, where they actually making corrections and building style and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I figure at Fairtex, they also have a really good MMA program. So that was really appealing to me because, like I said, I got for Muay Thai at the highest levels. We'll see. For MMA, I think I have a crack at it.
And it's like you said, if the ONE FC thing pulls out, then you have that's why I like is they have. And I just talked about this. They have a good way for people to transition between MMA and Muay Thai kickboxing into MMA. And they offer that platform for them in the same promotion. They don't have to go hunt around somewhere else for it.
Exactly.
You see like Asa Tenpao, who's over there. Asa Tenpao is like, somebody, he had to go transition to MMA. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, I know who Asa Tenpao is. Yeah.
So, he's transitioning over to MMA. He had to go to a different organization.
Yeah.
Like, had he been with ONE FC, it's very easy. They could retain him. They have this high level talent, right?
Yeah.
That can fight Muay Thai and he could do MMA. I don't know if that's like the end goal. We have a question here. Ragnar over on TikTok. Do you train in Thailand? Yes, I'm talking with pro fighter Robinson. Okay, Robbinson Galvez, who's over here right now in Pattaya, Thailand. I've been there myself. Yes, a lot. Asa Tempao is sick. That's right, Xavier. So
yes.
I guess that's to go over on like how important like a strong promotion like that is, and that all the respect in the world to Chatri.
Yes,
on what he's done. So like you've been training for 5 years. So I think maybe about another 4 or 5 years before that's when Evolve really started kicking off. Evolve MMA.
Yeah.
And like kind of him planting the seed of what he was going to be doing. And seeing that come to fruition. And like I told people like maybe like four years ago who wanted to do MMA that were training in our programs, I'm like, yo, get ready for this promotion called ONE FC. They're like, what the hell is that? Now they're all like, oh, I want to fight in ONE FC. I'm like, you remember we were talking about that? Like you should have been like, plant those seeds, man. I'm gonna go plant those seeds. So I have a great question here. Just a sidebar real quick. I have a question from Ragnar. He said, how much money do you spend to go to Thailand and live there for, let's say, if per month? What are you spending for training and living expenses?
So fortunately, I'm here with my girlfriend, so we kind of split like some of the expenses here.
Score.
Score. But so the plane ticket, let's say round trip, it's let's say about $1,000, $1,500. I don't know what prices are like. I'm kind of dreading going back home because I hear about inflation, but let's say $1,000 to $1,500 is pretty normal for plane fare. And then I think training here is about, for MMA, because I do not only Muay Thai but MMA, it's about $450 a month. And I believe our apartment, like a little studio apartment that we have, it's like a 2-minute walk from the gym, is like, I think it's like $350.
Yeah.
The studio. Yeah, like 300, 350, something like that, something around there.
Are you staying with everything included?
So we're staying at the Fairtex residence. I know there's people that find condos for like $250 a month.
But you just made it simple, stay on site.
Yeah, exactly. There's a shopping center right across the street. It's a 2-minute walk to the gym. So it's like everything I need is right here. The beach is a 5-minute walk away. So it's not like, it's not a rough living situation.
No, you got Terminal 21 across the way, and the beach. You can go chill, and it's like Bangkok's not that far. You can go hop on a bus. Exactly. I have my martial arts life says, that's awesome. You're training Thailand with Fairtex, Rob. Awesome for you, brother. So that's Xavier from he's up in the Bay Area too. I don't know if you know him.
I know. Maybe I've crossed paths with a lot of people.
He's been around for a long time, man. So cool. He's one of the OGs, I think. There's like he's been posting like old smoker videos and shit like that from like when Fairtex was hosting him and everything too.
Sick.
So going into like the training living expenses, what's your girlfriend's name? I hear she's in the background. Hi,
Kennedy.
Hi,
Kennedy. My name's Kennedy.
Yeah. I was wondering why I said Kennedy.
She can hear you. No, she was like sleeping until I woke her up.
Oh, my bad, Kennedy. Don't beat me up, okay? Yeah, she doesn't need to stay out if she don't want to. I get it.
No, she's going through some stuff right now, so she can't really get up very fast.
No worries. Passion Bell over on TikTok. Yo, so just to reiterate here for everybody that's out there on social media, we're live here with Mr. Robbinson Galvez, live from Pattaya, Thailand. He's over at Fairtex right now. Go check him out on all social medias, on everything. I found out is it Robinson who ROBBINSONWHO. All right, no relation to the World Health Organization.
No, zero.
Right. Zero. How are things back in California? You've been keeping up with your home team?
Yeah, so it's great. It's actually been really easy this time around because right now I'm the most active fighter in my gym right now. Mm-hmm. And then also my whole family trains now. So my mom, my dad, my brother, and I still live at home. Yeah.
Hey, yes.
Yeah. So my brother's been training for a year. My parents been training for a few months now. and they stay consistent with it. So they're always like eager to talk to me about what's going on in the gym and stuff. And I keep in touch with my coach.
Okay.
So
let me ask you, how long did it take to get your family involved?
Oh, bro. So here's what I think happened. And if they watch this, they might give me a little spanking still, even though I'm 26. but what I think happened is they see the magnitude of it now. So now, like, they've been to a few of my fights now. As my parents didn't really, I mean, they kind of were like supporters. They're never like, don't do it, but they were like, but there was like, do what makes you happy. But they weren't like, yeah, dude, this is awesome. But as of late, I've been having title fights back home, and there's been people, like a crowd coming out to see me. So I think they're starting to see that like it's working, you know, and they're starting to see that people appreciate my work. And especially for the last fight in Freedom Promotions, it was, if you were there, Freedom Fighter Promotions, that show, it was just like, it was something special. I felt like the main event in that fight. And
nice.
And like people were chanting my name and everyone was just going crazy. I really felt like really loved and supported, and I couldn't walk 2 steps without getting into a new conversation.
So I'm like, hey, good fight.
Yeah. Hey, good fight. Great. And I'm just, you know, I'm like, I can't get to everybody. And there was a movie being filmed on me, a documentary should be coming out relatively soon, a documentary about my fight journey. And the buildup for that fight. So they're starting to see, like, people starting to pay attention. I'm starting to get sponsorships. I'm starting to talk about GoPro. And, you know, I've been winning consistently. I've won 9 out of my last 10 fights since I come back from Thailand. So I'm doing fairly decently.
There you
go. So I think they're starting to see, they want to be a part of it. They're starting to see like people like appreciate and like support me. And I think they want to be a part of that. So It took about 5 years, I'd say, for them to really want to go in.
5 years, better than me, man. It took me 10 years to get my big brother involved in it, because I'm his little brother. Yeah, he's 2 years older than me, and he always used to beat my butt and stuff like that. I've found him on here quite a few times and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. My little brother trains too. So, but it took me again 5 years, about 4 or 5 years to get him in the gym. And it wasn't even me that talked him into it. I told my coach, like, hey, can you? Because my coach is a really good speaker. He's like, I told him, hey man, can you tell him something about like starting too late or something, or not, you know, like not waiting too long to start or something. And he told him, and he like, it worked. Like I kind of had this plan, and it worked, and he started training. So now he's actually got his first semi-contact fight coming up next month. Nice. Yeah, so it's cool. Yeah, it's cool to see the transformation.
There's a question here from the Ragnar over on TikTok. And it's a good question. You know, I've talked about this before on my social media and stuff like that too. And I think it's like kind of going to be like an ever evolving question. It says, he's saying, I'm thinking about starting MMA and I'm 19 years old, but I'm 19. What do you think is the best martial art to begin with?
To begin, it just depends what kind of fighter you want to be, in my opinion.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's a good answer.
Yeah. So like, I mean, for me, I like striking. I like hitting people, you know. And honestly, for me, like MMA hasn't really been that hard because I wrestled on and off in high school and middle school.
Oh, okay, so you had some grappling background.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like fantastic, but I more or less I can scramble pretty decently, and I play football, which I feel like football has been the biggest help for my martial arts career. Like,
not afraid to get hit, man.
Yeah. So so it just depends what kind of fighter you want to be. For me, like a striking, I feel pretty comfortable taking people down, like slamming people. I'm not comfortable on the ground, but if you want to be like, it depends if you want to be like a Khabib, yeah, you know, you better have a wrestling base, right? If you want to be like Israel Adesanya, yeah, you probably want to have like a kickboxing base, Muay Thai base, you know, something like that. It just depends who you want to be like, who you want to emulate. And so I look at the fighters that I love and appreciate, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to be. I'm definitely taking the right steps.
Yeah, you know, to the fighter you want to be, right?
Yeah. So if you want to,
it is an art.
It is.
Yeah,
it really is. And if you want to be like Damian Maia or somebody like that, then you probably want to be like really dive headfirst into jiu-jitsu. So yeah. So look at your favorite fighters. Look at what style you want to have, and then base what martial art is the best one for you, because it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. That's a good answer, man. You know, for me, I'm biased, and I just straight up say, hey, you should do Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And I tell people that I'm extremely biased, but and this is my thoughts behind it though, is like some of the more dominant champions we're seeing come from a striking background right now.
Right.
And people are like, well, no, it's wrestlers. Yeah, because predominantly in the past, people that were starting MMA, that are doing good in it, had been wrestling a long time. They transitioned over to MMA. And, now we're getting people who were doing Muay Thai for a long time and fighting for peanuts, as you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
you do Muay Thai for the big bucks, right, Robinson? You get all the money, what is it, $200?
Yeah, shit, I still make money, dog. So I'm still amateur. So
it's crazy. Your last fight, the one at the Fairtex Fight Promotion, that was amateur, considered amateur.
Well, I mean, for here there is no amateur in Thailand,
Yeah.
So what I did, I just distributed the money between the trainers and people that were helping me. So none of the money actually went through me. So it was handled on their end.
they took the money themselves. You didn't see the money. I got it.
Yeah. I didn't see the money. So.
Cool, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how that continues to grow for you and everything.
Definitely. I mean, once I get back to the States, I'll probably be amateur for maybe one more fight, because I did promise Freedom I wanted to do their fight for that national title that they got, pretty sweet belt that they got. And then maybe one amateur MMA fight, and then from there, I'm looking to go pro. I don't want to be amateur for very much longer.
No, man. It's like in the worst case, if there's no activity here in North America, go to Asia.
Yep, exactly.
There's always shit popping off in Asia. I'm just gonna say, what part? So is your family from Mexico?
Yeah.
What part?
My parents are from Chiapas, both of them.
Oh man, you got Muay Thai in Chiapas too.
There's little bits. There's signs of it.
They're doing fights there though. They're doing fights down in that region. I know that.
Are they? Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
I have to check it out. I know. Yeah, actually, yes, there is. I actually did a seminar last time I went down to Chiapas.
Yeah.
And I was teaching a few guys, and I know that my cousin lives, he moved there when he was 8. So he's a teenager now. So he lives there. He lived with us for a little bit because he was doing school online. He can make some money here working. So he went back, and he's actually teaching at a couple Muay Thai gyms in Chiapas right now. So,
man, I'm going to tell you one of the places. So I was just down in Monterrey, Mexico.
Oh, cool.
I've been on for a couple of fights. Yeah, I brought a guy down there. He was fighting in a tournament they did like a Zuzu style tournament where you're fighting for a car. Yeah. So.
Oh, what? That's tight.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Mexico is where it's fucking happening, man. They had Brooke and Eddie Farrell down there in Tulum. Yeah. We just had somebody go fight down in Tulum at their fights. They're doing a good job. They brought in the WBC and all that stuff too. And the thing is, they have the fighting infrastructure, and then WBC is backing all the Muay Thai stuff, as you see is happening in Thailand and stuff too, more and more. So they have the infrastructure, they have the ring officials, they're all trained, they're all ready to go. It's just getting the people in there and to know that it's possible for you to go fight there. And it's very similar, like the setup they had there, man, it was like stuff you'd see in Asia. The production was very high quality production. Nice. And it totally kicked all the North American promoters' asses. What I saw there, it was freaking amazing. I guess Monterrey is one of the more wealthy, the wealthiest part of Latin America.
Okay.
It made sense that they're doing something like this. And there's a couple of these guys who are hedge fund managers and stuff like that are venture capitalists that are putting the money down for it because they like Muay Thai. So know that's probably there, man. Those opportunities are there too in Central and South America. And,
I would love to go. I would love to go fight over there, and it's cool to see that the art's kind of spreading, because remember when I went 5 years ago to Mexico, nobody knew what it was. And now we got just the first Mexican guy on one championship, Tuzo Cruz.
Yeah.
So that was
shout
cool.
out to Tuzo, man. I oversaw one of his fights in Arizona when he fought for the WBC under 18, or not for the amateur title when they were doing amateur belts.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. It was exciting. I was like, cool. Damn it, I wish I would have been the first one, but I'm glad that it's happening for people, and they're starting to break through that market, because that means they'll be looking for more. And here I am, Yacha Tree, whenever you're ready.
Get at me, Chat Tree Robinson Who on Instagram. Slide me DMs. Exactly. Awesome, man. Well, hey, I want to I would love to have you on here again. I really appreciate you taking the time and everything. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, man. I just want to say shout out to my coach back home, my coach Ben at Phase 3. He's been building me up for the last 5 years, and I feel very comfortable saying that he's one of the better trainers. I think that's pretty unknown, and I'm excited to kind of shed some light on the gym and on my trainer as well, because there's I feel like there's a lot of good trainers out there that just don't have a breakout fighter sometimes. And I'm excited to when my rise comes, his rise will come as well. Also shout out to Jongsunan and over at Wooden Man Muay Thai, who's very good about taking care of us and very inviting and welcoming
nice,
for the gym.
Noom is freaking awesome. He was actually just here. Him and Ganya were just here at our academy.
Oh, nice.
In Santa Barbara.
I saw the eat, sleep, teeth thing.
yeah. So I've known him for we're on 13 years now.
Nice.
Met him when Malia, Malia,
Malia,
when she was fighting and stuff like that. So
nice, man.
It's funny how this all coming around full circle and everything, man.
Yeah, they're always a good time, man.
Yeah. What I can say for your coach too, he probably doesn't like to be on camera.
No,
but plug him as much as you can on social media at least his business, because I'm going to tell you that he's never going to hate you for it. Okay.
Yeah.
He's never going to hate you for that. He's never going to hate you for that, man. Because I feel like for us, we had no Muay Thai in our town either. So being from a small town, I feel that. And that's why like you said, you're before we started the podcast, you see all this shit, dude, how are you making so much content?
yeah, man. Yeah, you're freaking it all out, bro.
Yeah, you got to. And it's an interesting time. And I see you doing it too, man. So keep doing what you're doing. And once you eventually get that set up over on Discord too, we'll figure that out. Yeah, I'll help you troubleshoot some stuff, dude. We'll see if we can.
I need it. I need the help, man. I'm not great with technology. Luckily, like you kind of have a team with my girl. It's she's the one that's helping me. She's the kind of the marketing and techie whiz behind all the things. So she really polished up when she started helping out my social media.
Good. Well, hey, everybody out there, go follow Mr. Robbinson Galvez. Again, he's live from Pattaya, Thailand. It's about 10 p.m. there. He's got to get up early tomorrow and go hit the road. I know that. Probably keeping it light as he's recovering. Go check him out on Instagram, TikTok, all the social media. Robbinson Who, ROBBINSONWHO. And that we'll have the link in the show notes afterwards. You have a great night, man.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right.